It's the Opperman Report. Join digital forensic investigator and PI Ed Opperman for an in-depth discussion of conspiracy theories, strategy of New World Order resistance, high-profile court cases in the news, and interviews with expert guests and authors on these topics and more. It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, private investigator Ed Opperman. It is April 5th, 2019. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Shows are brought to you by CourtKing.com. Have you ever thought about opening your own mobile court or kiosk business? Perhaps your current business wants to add additional point-of-sale locations across the country. Maybe the facility you manage could add additional revenue by adding coffee, food, or retail services. CourtKing.com can be the answer to your needs. CourtKing.com is a North American designer and manufacturer of the finest mobile retail coffee, food, carts, kiosks money can buy for 20 years. 20 years. That's more than some of you guys have been alive. Okay, out there. CourtKing.com has been working with clients and corporations across America to provide indoor and outdoor carts and kiosks for any application. The number is 877-986-7771. The website is cart-king.com. So whatever kind of business you want to get into, you want to sell coffee down there in the lobby of a hospital or in the DMV or in a hotel lobby or something like that, they're all over the place, man. Especially hospitals are a great place because people are waiting. Anywhere there's a waiting room, you can make a fortune selling coffee, guys. The markup is insane. Okay, so you check out the different designs at cart-king.com. Then they'll custom design it for you, custom build it for you, and they'll ship it worldwide. These guys, they're all over. Okay, you can't turn your back on CourtKing.com. Okay, let's see. Still haven't decided what I'm going to name the show, but I got so much on my mind. We have updated the members section with some new content, with what do you call it? Two shows from this guy, Caleb Colley, about this book called Disappeared Off the Face of the Earth. And it's about this guy in Ireland, you know, who believes he's under attempted murder by this witchcraft cult, operating out of a church there in Northern Ireland during the times of the Troubles in the 70s and the 80s. Fascinating conversation going on for about 2.5 hours. Then I did a show with Pierce Redmond. Okay. And let's see. Tomorrow I'm pretty sure I'm going to do a show about a silent Hague's coup. Not silent coup, Hague's coup. With Ray Locker. That was a great interview. Some great information came out of that that's going to really knock you off your feet, especially at the end. Find out that Alexander Hague was involved and responsible for vetting all the Cubans from the Bay of Pigs, allowing them to come to the United States and join the U.S. Army. How do you like that? Okay? So he has a direct connection to he would have known and met the Watergate burglars before the burglary. Years before. Fascinating. Great new content came out of that interview. I really enjoyed it. Then we have all kinds of stuff. The Yorkshire Ripper and what's that thing coming up? The Source Family, Father Yode. And the other one was Amityville Horror Hoax. All great shows. I'm very proud of them. I had a good week. I think I did some good shows for you this week. So let's see. Let's get right into this. Pull up the ruse. Okay, what do I want to start with? Creepy Joe Biden or George Papadopoulos? Let's start with Creepy Joe. No, George Papadopoulos. George Papadopoulos, I think this is important. George Papadopoulos came out with this book, all right, about his story. George Papadopoulos, he was named by President Mr. Trump during the very early stages of the campaign as his foreign policy advisor. Young guy, 20s. Okay? But interesting background even before that. You know? So he tells the story, and he got convicted for lying to Mueller's investigators and stuff like that. Had to do 14 days, and max. Had to do 14 days. Oh, God. Give me a break. But anyway. So I've been catching him on the news. He's doing it on the radio and stuff like that, doing this tour. I'm definitely going to book him for the show. And he's describing the circumstances. I have a whole new respect for George Papadopoulos, okay? After seeing what he was exposed to when it was announced that he was Mr. Trump's foreign policy advisor, people started coming at him from all angles, and even he couldn't figure it out. Australian intelligence people, former CIA people, former CIA people that were setting people up in previous cases from previous operations. So they were pounding all over this guy, and he was just too young. He was over his head, and he couldn't handle it. And he got taken for a ride. And the kid, I still think he's being handled, by the way. The whole story about how he met his wife and the wife's connection with him and stuff like that is, man, still shady. Shady as F, okay, as the kids like to say. So I got a whole new respect for Papadopoulos because I can appreciate what he went through. Because as most people who listen to the show, who are loyal listeners, been listening for 5 years, know about my case in investigating Todd and Sarah Palin, and into prostitution and massage parlor activities, all kind of stuff like that. Expanded into an investigation into Secret Service misbehavior, congressional investigation, And when I was involved in it, when I took that case, the client, Shirley Tripp, had no one was helping her. There was no one out there to pick this up. There was no operation, no Democratic fundraisers, no operatives running this thing. It was me and her, okay, up against the National Enquirer, and we emerged successful, But when I was working on that and I was putting together all this information, I was infiltrated like crazy, man, and I could, just like Papadopoulos was, and I had, I can remember, oh, by the way, too, see, and the trick is, too, they were trying to get him to commit crimes and say stuff, and he fell into it. See, but where me, I'm a little bit more savvy, been around a little bit more than this kid. I can't get a job at the White House for some reason, but I'm a little bit more savvy than this kid was, and I was on my guard. And I was approached one night, by this person who I later am convinced is Chinese intelligence. And I'm not just saying this. I know a lot of people, you hear people talking on the radio and they talk about their deep sources and this nonsense and stuff like that. This is something, when I was going into this, I didn't think she was an intelligence agent. I just thought she was a regular person. But after starting talking to her, I became suspicious. And then later on, she was down there at the Arab Spring when Egypt was getting overthrown. She was actually on a train when they were shooting at the train. There's video of it. Then she's at this embassy. She's at that embassy. She's, come on. Anyway, so this person was trying to get me to commit crimes. He was trying to get me to help her commit a crime. And I said, oh, no, I'm not getting involved in that. And I even said that even before I suspected she was an agent. But then once that came out, and then there's all this other stuff, seeing all this other stuff, I knew she was an agent. And I was infiltrated by another agent, too, I believe it was Mossad at this time. And plus, who knows what else? My house was broken into. My office was broken into. They got into my safe. They actually swapped out cables. I would do digital forensics on cell phones and stuff like that. And they swapped out cables that I had in my kit that I carry around, my mobile kit. So this was a serious, it's serious infiltration, man, and I was able to come out of it unscathed, unlike George Papadopoulos, who just didn't have the kind of street savvy that you need to be doing these kind of things. He just wasn't up for the task, and he's just barely figuring out what happened. Now I got to read his book. I haven't read the whole book, but he's just barely figuring out what went on. And with hindsight, you can kind of look at things a little more clearer. But it seems like there's still people in his life that are manipulating this kid, and he's just not up for the task. Which brings me to another issue, which I would love to address here once and for all. People say to me all the time, "Hey, Ed, thanks for the work that you do," and I do have this little knack for questioning people and interviewing people, and getting information out of them that the average person won't get. So many times I've had guests come in and say, "Well, no one ever asked me that before," We find out this stuff. the connections between Crowley and Kinsey. You know, when I had, I forget that woman's name right now, Rightback or something like that. Anyway, so I do have this little talent for investigating things and coming up with information and finding guests, you know, people that are exclusive information, exclusive guests. And a lot of people appreciate this, and they kind of want to get involved, you know. And they want to be like, you know, hey, Ed, you know, I'm going to team up with you because look at me, I'm doing all this stuff too. And that's fine, okay, but you got to understand, all right, is I've had a long life, you know. I'm 57 years old. I was just talking to Pierce the other day, you know, people I knew back on stand-up, half of them are dead, in prison, you know, destroyed lives. But I've made it this far, you know, bounced off every wall, hit every rung on the fire escape like Mr. Magoo. But I have made it this far without winding up in prison with a long prison stretcher, or, you know, homeless or dead, you know, or thrown into a mental institution, or however, you know, the government deals with people like me. And that's because I'm a little fast on my feet, and I'm quick-witted, and I'm very careful who I allow in. And I, you know, with being careful comes the downside, comes the unpleasantness of having to remove people, for having to disassociate myself with people. You know, if I become suspicious, or if you're just getting a little too, you know, you're getting a little too involved, you know, I got to stay focused on what I'm doing. And it's for my own safety, for my daughter's safety, for our lives here. We have our own personal lives we have to function with here. We have our own goals and plans in life that we want to do that go beyond anything on this radio show, you know. Even if the show ended tomorrow, I'm still going to be working on things. I'm still going to be involved with stuff like the Sarah Palin case or these kind of things, you know. I'm still going to be doing this. Nothing going to change for me. The radio show isn't my pinnacle of activities, man. If anything, this thing's holding me back in a lot of ways. So a lot of people hear the show and they say, oh, I want to be involved and I want to be on your team, you know. And that's great, too. And if I need you, you know, you can help me, fine, okay. But you're not going to come in, all right, and start hijacking everything I'm doing and changing the subject, you know, and chiming in every 5 minutes and on whatever I'm doing, like on social media. It's become impossible on social media. I'm about to give it up, you know, because it's becoming impossible to present an idea, you know, to the public, you know, or a thought, you know, hey, I'm looking at that. Like today, I saw this Starbucks guy, and I said, oh, boy, this guy's not that bright. This Starbucks guy running for president as an independent is not that smart. He's not that sharp. You know, he's not. You know, and it's just impossible to post my thoughts without certain people chiming right in and want to change the subject to something else that they're thinking of. You know, and it kind of derails the whole conversation. And it's a shame, you know. So how do you deal with that? Well, you know, listen, go to your own page and do that. You know what I mean? I can't have you on mine. Changing the topic every time I have a thought. I have things I'm trying to move forward here. Proposals, thoughts, ideas, you know. So I have to, you know, disassociate myself with people every now and then. I don't like it, and it may not, I don't hate you. It's not that I hate you. Or I'm mad at you, and they start contacting William Rams. Oh, is he mad at me? I'm not mad at anybody, man. Okay, I got my stuff here I'm trying to do. And for my own safety, my own well-being, my own progress, my own focus, I got to do it my way, how I'm doing it. Okay, thank you for your help, whatever, you know. But you have your own platform. I'm not taking away your platform. Anybody else can do it on your own platform. But this is my platform, and this is how I'm choosing to do things, and this is how I'm going to do things until further notice. You know, so I would just really appreciate a little space in that area. You know, it's so easy to get derailed. You know, your focus distracted. You know, by nonsense and foolishness and people's strange ideas and beliefs. You know, and people sometimes, you know, with an agenda. You know, and you kind of spot their agenda. And you overlook and you say, okay, this guy's got this agenda here going on. I'll keep an eye on it. You know, I'm not going to let it affect what I'm doing, you know, but then sometimes it just bleeds over into me, and I can't be associated with people that are advancing agendas that I don't believe in, Okay, I have my own agenda that I'm working on here. And I don't think anybody's ever accused me of having selfish motives or being dishonest or any of those kind of things or being stupid. A lot of people, sometimes people say, well, Ed, he's a Democrat. He hates Trump, so he's making it up. But I dismiss those people because those for you to kind of think that, well, your political opinions are going to cause you to lie and make things up. That just tells me that's how you operate. You know what I mean? And you're a liar, and you just lie and make things up. And in kind of a childish form where I'm kind of trying to elevate this debate. So anyway, so that's my point about George Papadopoulos. Okay, is that the kid was way over his head, in my opinion, and he got totally swamped with these avalanche of people having that much exposure. Because very few people knew what I was doing with Sarah Palin and stuff like that. So there was only, it was a limited number of people that can get in. Plus, the way I live my life, only a limited number of new people can get into me anyway, and start trying to influence what I'm doing. It's very, very difficult to manipulate me. Okay, 16 minutes. All right, let's see here. Okay, wish I had more notes. Okay, now, another thing I wanted to talk about, and I'm going to be getting into the whole thing about, what's his name, Joe Biden and stuff like that too as well, and this whole thing about the creepy Joe Biden videos and stuff like that. I'm going to be spending some more time on that. But before I get to that, there's another issue that I was talking about this week online that really concerns me. That's why I'm putting it in the front of the show, because normally, like filler stuff, I'll put in the back, But the Joe Biden stuff, I have a whole theory on that I want to get out. But I'm seeing stuff that's really disturbing me. Okay, and from my position here, I broadcast to a lot of people. A lot of people listen to this show. I have a big social media platform. A lot of people follow me on social media. So every day I get a lot of emails, okay? And I got a lot of instant messages in different forums, Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that. Comments on YouTube. And then people email. And then there's another group of people that actually call me up. I can't leave messages. I got the 202 number, the 800-202 number that it's designed for people to leave messages for the show. But unfortunately, hardly people use that. They like to call me up at work and talk to me. And I understand that people hear me on the radio, and they know they can trust me. Okay, and I know that I've developed this kind of personality where people can talk to me, and where I interview people, or I'm interrogating somebody, or I'm investigating somebody, and they feel they can trust me, and they confide in me, and then before you know it, they're confessing. Okay, all right, and I know this. Okay, so people hear this and they say, "Oh, this is such a likable guy. He's an honest guy. I know I can trust him." So they want to call me up and tell me their problems and stuff like that. Now, but the thing is if you like the work I'm doing on the show, okay, then you're just, when you take my time for your personal needs, you're distracted from that work, and you're damaging the show. You're hurting the show. You're working against what I'm working for. You're working against the production of the show that we're trying to put out here by distracting me and taking my time away. Especially, if you're calling me up and you this whole big pretext that you want to hire me for something, and it's just all a facade, that you're never going to. It's really, and I try and be as polite as I can to everybody, but it really is unfair to me, and it's unfair to the show, it's unfair to the listeners, it's unfair to the work I'm trying to do here. That especially when people do that, hey, I might want to hire you, because I've got this problem. Because I want to help people with their problems, and I'll sometimes still give people free advice. I'll help them as much as I can. A lot of times they're ungrateful about that. Doing the best I can. The other one is people who say to me, "Well, Ed, unless you, okay, like if I present my opinions or my personal experience on a certain topic, and then someone will come back and says, 'No, Ed, I don't want you to think the way you're thinking. I want you to think the way I'm thinking.' And unless you agree with my thinking and I'm going to send you YouTube videos, and I'm going to send you links here and stuff like that. And unless you agree with me, I'm not going to donate money to your show, and I'm not going to become a member. Look, listen. There's no amount of money anybody's going to pay me here that's going to cause me to come on the air and lie to you. I'm not going to come on the air and lie to people and make stuff up or make you feel good and make you feel happy and tickle your ears just for the purpose of donations or memberships. It's just not going to happen. It's just, if I just want to make money, I'll go out and do something to make money. I'll dump this freaking show. It's a pain in the ass anyway, to be honest with you. You know, I enjoy talking to a lot of the guests. But a lot I don't. A lot of them are divas, you know, and they have an attitude, and, you know, and they may sound all nice and cheery and friendly on the air, but off the air, they're pain in my butt, you know. So that's the thing there, man. So there's no amount of convincing me of your opinion or whatever. You have an opinion, that's great, you know, and you should go and build a forum, build a platform, a following of people that are interested in your opinion. But to try and impose your opinion on me with insults and arrogance, that doesn't get anybody anywhere, does it? You know, insulting me, you know, that I'm going to change my mind and say, okay, well, then I disagree with my personal experience with people here, and I'm going to read your article, and that's going to change my mind. You know, just stop and think. You know, just stop and think. You know, if I have a personal experience with a certain issue on here, where I've dealt with firsthand with the people involved, where they've tried to hire me off the air. They contact me. I've been involved in conference calls, involved in this topic, in the controversy, right? With the people involved. And then you're going to send me an article that someone else has written about these people that doesn't mention me and doesn't even know anything about my involvement in it. And this is going to somehow change my mind. And then you're going to point and say, well, there's an article, Ed. Well, you know, I've lived this. I'm living this, you know? It's just so frustrating. You can't imagine. And I know that the other thing, too, is I know that not every host out here is, you know, actually involved in people trying to hire them to work on these cases and stuff, you know. So, you know, a lot of times, you know, the hosts you get, they're just sitting around watching YouTube videos and reading articles and then just spewing opinions, you know. And, you know, but I don't know. That's not what I'm doing here, man. I guess, and people can't discern the difference. You know, they can't discern, because you look at these other shows and these other YouTube channels and stuff like that. They have hundreds of thousands of hits, and all these people donating money and sending them cash and stuff like that just to hear fantasy, you know, stuff made up off the top of their heads, and people just seem to love it. You know, so I guess I could do that. You know. You know, I would do it under a fake name or something. I don't know. I'm not going to do it. I guess that's why they do it under fake names. You know, they create a fake persona. I'd have to change my voice too. I always wanted to talk with an English accent. Maybe this would be a good opportunity here. I think I'm losing my mind. Let me take a look at this clock here and play a little commercial break, and we'll be right back after these messages. God, Zooks, I am losing my mind, man.
A portion of every purchase at Firehouse Subs goes towards helping first responders. Firehouse Subs. Enjoy more subs, save more lives. Participating locations only, Firehouse Subs will donate a minimum of $1 million in 2019 to the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation by donating 0.11% of every purchase.
O'Reilly. Is your check engine light on? Don't ignore it. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today and let our professional parts people scan your vehicle for free. We'll retrieve the codes, discuss possible solutions, and even help you find a professional technician if needed. Visit O'Reilly Auto Parts today for our free check engine light help. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
And now a word from our sponsors. Check out CartKing.com, 877-986-7771. Have you ever thought about opening your own mobile cart or kiosk business? Perhaps your current business wants to add multiple point-of-sale locations across the country quickly. Maybe the facility you manage could kickstart revenue by adding coffee, food, or retail services, like let's say you own an office building or a warehouse. Put one of these carts there in the lobby. Well, CartKing.com can be the answer to your needs. CartKing.com is a North American designer and manufacturer of the finest mobile retail coffee and food carts and kiosks money can buy. For 20 years, CartKing.com has been working with clients and corporations across America to provide indoor and outdoor carts and kiosks for any application. From large, heated, and secure outdoor retail or food kiosks to smaller, more mobile coffee kiosks or coffee stations, coffee carts, CartKing.com designs and builds them all. Carts and kiosks are fun, and so are the dozens of designs on the website, CartKing.com. Please visit today at CartKing.com or just call them at 877-986-7771. Tell them Ed Opperman sent you and you get a good deal. Remember, all these shows on Awake are brought to you by EmailRevealer.com. You can go to emailrevealer.com and get a copy of my book, How to Become a Successful Private Investigator. You also do all the kind of different services for you. Online dating service investigations called an online infidelity investigation. And that's where you give us your husband or your boyfriend, your girlfriend's email address, and we trace it back to their online dating websites, and we return a list of all the dating sites that email is registered to. We can expand on that investigation and trace it back to porn sites, escort service sites, swinger sites, gambling websites, and even prescription drug websites, and all kinds of digital forensics, computer and cell phone digital forensics, where we can recover deleted content from an email or a hard drive and produce a report for you that you can use in court. That's emailrevealer.com, or you can contact me at oppermaninvestigations@gmail.com. Almightygold.com. Would you like to start investing in gold? But you can't afford to buy a whole ounce of gold, or certainly can't buy a bar of gold. With almightygold.com, you can invest in gold in these carat bars as little as of 1/10 of a gram of gold. So you can start investing tonight for as little as $6, $8. You can put your money in a product that's going to increase in value, not to be wasted on the trivial things we spend our money on every day. You can buy these carat bars. They're embedded into a credit card-sized plastic card. There's a watermark on it. There's a security strip on it, and it's all authenticated. You don't want to have them all sent to you at once. You can have them stored in their global savings vault for secure and safekeeping. They ship it to you when it reaches $1,000. When you have $1,000 in savings and you put it aside for a rainy day, for an emergency, you can barter with these little, guaranteed amounts of gold here in this little card. They also have a cryptocurrency that's backed by gold. And if you want to get into the gold business, become an affiliate of almightygold.com, contact us at almightygold.com. That's their email address. Contact us at almightygold.com, and they can put you in the gold business. Gold. Okay, welcome back. Gold! Welcome back to the Opperman Report. I am your host, Private Investigator Ed Opperman. Now, the reason why I brought up all that stuff about getting all the messages and emails and phone calls and stuff like that is I was getting to a point, okay? I'm getting older. My memory's not as good as it used to be, but I still got a little sharp attack there. Anyway, what do you call it? I'm noticing, guys, and it's really disturbing. In the past 5 years, I've been doing a show. I've had a lot of contact with the public. I'm noticing that more and more people are losing touch with reality, okay? Or isolating themselves. And I see more and more on social media people talking about that they have social anxiety and that they're the distances, they have awkward feelings around other people, and they distance themselves, and they want to have relationships with other people, but they don't. And I see this as a serious problem in our society. You know, it's only been the last 10 years that we've had all this Facebook and social media. It's been a short time. It's been an even shorter time that we've had these iPhones. I was sitting in the dentist waiting room the other day. It's at a college at UNLV, so it's a big, giant waiting room. There's 100 people in there, and there's 100 people walking around outside. And everyone's got their face buried in their phone. There was one old guy there sitting there, you know. And I said, I should get up and walk over and sit next to this guy and talk to him because no one else is alive. You know, everybody's hypnotized by these damn phones. And the thing is, man, if you think, Instagram and all this stuff, if you think everybody's so concerned and worried about that they're targeted individuals and they're being spied on and they're being manipulated and stuff, you are being manipulated, man, but it's through social media. And if there was somebody targeting you, it would be so simple for them to turn off negative comments and people that are supportive of you and just turn on the negative comments, and people that hate you or people that make you upset or make you feel more isolated. It's really easy to manipulate you with that kind of content going on there. And I can't impress this enough. that we all need to put down these devices and get away from our computers and get away from our phones and get out in nature, man, and get out around other people. And it's impossible to find other people in public that don't have their faces buried into these devices, except maybe in the workplace. But so many more people work remotely and isolated over the computer and over the internet that even that. So I see this as a really, really desperate situation for our country and for the world as a whole. That this cannot be good for us. I don't see it at all. I would encourage people. I get along fine without carrying a phone, man. And if I need one, Vic has one, or if I'm out on a date, the girl will have one, whatever. So if I'm in a meeting or something like that, hey, let me use your phone. I'm getting along fine without it. So if we could all just back away from that kind of stuff, I think it would really do our mental health some justice there. Okay, so this thing came out with Lucy Flores comes out this week and makes this accusation, not an accusation, she makes a revelation about Joe Biden. Right now, for years now, we've all seen these creepy Joe videos where he's down there on the Senate floor and they're taking these pictures, and then he says, okay, now look up. We have to look up, there's a photographer up there. And he's doing really creepy stuff. Okay, and a lot of it's to little kids. And I have two eyes, and I can watch these videos, and I can see that there's something really unpleasant going on there. It's unpleasant to the kids. It's unpleasant to the women. Even the men standing around kind of with these goofy smiles on their faces, they're uncomfortable by this as well. So Lucy Flores comes out and she gives a statement, and then she doubles down and she says, Google Creepy Joe on YouTube and you'll see these videos. And, whoa, what the hell's going on here? Now everyone, even my own daughter, who is very sober, middle of the road kind of person, believe it or not, when I try and talk to her about, and I say, this guy's a CIA agent and stuff like that, she goes, Dad, everybody's not CIA. I says, fake, I'm telling you, this guy told me he is. I know he is, she's just so anesthetized to all this, anesthetized, inoculated to all this, So, and she says to me, Ed, have you ever seen these Creepy Joe videos, man? How's he going to survive that? And normally, in a normal presidential race, if it was Biden against Mitt Romney, the media wouldn't mention these videos. But we're going up against Trump. So, of course, Trump's going to mention it, the Creepy Joe videos. And Trump is so extreme that he'll actually play a commercial 24/7, just showing Joe feeling up little kids. Okay, because the videos are out there, guys. Right? Now, so Lucy Flores comes out and she says, I was made to feel uncomfortable because he touched me inappropriately. He invaded my space. But what did he do? Well, he put his hands on my shoulders, and then he smelled my hair, and then he kissed my forehead, my back of my head. Okay. Right. But that doesn't compare to the stuff we see on his video, what he's doing with these little kids. Right? Now, I interviewed Lucy Flores. Okay, maybe I should play that interview. I never played it. Back when I was covering the Bernie campaign, Lucy Flores was very heavily involved. She's here from Nevada. So she was at a lot of the events, giving opening statements like that. So I had an opportunity to interview her at one of the Bernie rallies using my handheld recorder. But, it's all confusing. It's on they mix a WAV file, and then I got to convert it to MP3, so I never really bothered with it. And plus, there's nothing interesting came out of it, And so I've met her, and she's not the type of woman that you're going to invade her space just randomly. This is just not that kind of person. I'm that kind of person. No one's going to invade my space either. I'm not that kind of person where people feel comfortable just putting their hands all over me. So she comes out. And I'm talking here locally, here in Nevada, because she's here from Nevada. And then Erin Bilbray comes out. Now, you haven't heard this name. Erin Bilbray's been on my show a couple of times. She was a Nevada superdelegate. She was a superdelegate for Bernie. And she has photos of her with Joe Biden and on Air Force Two on Joe Biden's plane. really politically connected. Okay, and I like Erin Bilbray. I'm not more than I like Lucy Flores. I have nothing against Lucy Flores, but I have a rapport with Erin Bilbray. Erin Bilbray would know my name if she saw it. She knows me. I know her. So she comes up with this statement on March 31st, March 31 at 12:16 p.m. I am a lifelong advocate for women. I also support victims, but I feel it necessary to share my experience. The vice president held a rally for me the same summer he came to Las Vegas for Lucy Flores. He squeezed my shoulders and kissed my head and was very much like a father or grandfather. In fact, my father had done the same thing just minutes before. My family considers it one of our greatest memories. I was truly touched by his affection and compassion. I think it's important to realize that we all see the world from our own perspectives and life experiences. Now, since this time, some others, by the way, now you haven't heard that statement anywhere else in the news media. The news media is saying 4 other women have come forward. It's 4 others plus Erin Bilbray. This is exclusive reporting from here I'm giving you. Now, it seems to me, and watching this whole Biden thing roll out, that the Biden story here and this inappropriate touching and being too affectionate and being too invading people's space is a damage control story put out by the Biden camp. And supposedly Biden's trying to blame Bernie because Lucy Flores is hooked up with Bernie. She's with Beto now, and behind the scenes, Beto saying, "This is Bernie, and I'm going to go after Bernie and take him down. I got stuff on him." Okay, everyone keeps saying they have stuff on Bernie. Let's see what it is. I believe that Lucy Flores is doing this on behalf of Biden. I think there's a Biden-Beto ticket perhaps in the future, and that this is coming out to inoculate Joe Biden from these attacks. Then when later on, the theory is, anyway, by these Clinton-type DNC bubble people who live in a freaking bubble, who have no clue what's going on in the real world, and they think, well, all we have to do is we get it out, get ahead of the story. And we'll get it out there about Joe Biden and this creepy Biden videos. And then, by the way, you notice no one's showing these videos on TV. They just they tell you about the videos that you can Google it and find it. What other video does a TV show tell you, hey, you can go to Google and see this video? Don't they normally show you the video that they're talking about? Aren't they the first? They want to get the first video on this and be the first to show it. They're showing this other stupid video of this video made where Biden comes and massages himself that Trump retweeted. They're showing that YouTube video. Why don't they show that everyone's talking about the creepy Joe Biden videos? Why? Could it be they're all in the bag for Clinton and Biden and Obama and all these CIA characters? So it comes out too that and there was a meme too that showed Biden massaging this woman's neck. She had a big necklace, and she's looking very uncomfortable. Look at this. And why would they show that meme? Why would they pick that meme and not of him whispering in the ears of these little girls who look really creeped out? Okay? I was a basketball coach for little 10, 12-year-old girls. I know these girls, I know their reactions and when they're uncomfortable and when they're being creeped out just over something little. Okay? Like they're just uncomfortable about the way their uniform fits that day, and they're feeling all awkward and self-conscious. Little things like that. Okay, so I see these little girls here. This guy's whispering in their ear and feeling them up. Come on, right? So the one they come up with, though. The one they come up with, though, is this picture of this woman who's being massaged by Joe, and then she comes forward. I think her name is Coons. And she comes forward and says, "Oh, no, I was never made to feel uncomfortable." She has a whole backstory ready to go. And I also believe that people like Erin Bilbray, other people like this locally around the country, are also coming forward and giving these supportive stories of Joe. That, I wasn't offended by this, but he does need to learn about personal space and stuff. So the story has been totally manipulated and handled to now it's about Joe just not being old Uncle Joe. Well, times were different, and he's a little too touchy-feely, but he's not, but when the Creepy Joe videos show that the guy's a pervert, and he's perving on these kids. Okay, so I believe that it's Joe Biden and the DNC spin doctors who all worked for the Clintons. This is Clinton's fingerprints all over it. That are pulling this out. And this is going to backfire on the Democrats if they do somehow steal from Bernie again. Because if you look at every kind of poll, every fundraising, crowd size polls, Bernie's way ahead. He's the front runner. He's definitely going to take Maine. He's definitely going to take New Hampshire. He's all set to take Nevada here. And he has the money to take California with ads. And that'll be it, man. Then he's won. Okay, California moved their primary up ahead, man. So once you get, Iowa, Maine, New Hampshire, Nevada, and California, that's it, man. You're the Democratic, and plus half of these guys are going to drop out by then. I think even Elizabeth Warren's going to be dropping out before them. So if they do steal from Bernie somehow and appoint Biden to go in there, which I'm sure they're going to try and do, then Trump is going to play those real videos 24/7, and this ensures a Trump victory because no one can watch those videos and not be creeped out by creepy Joe Biden. It's just impossible. So let's see here. I hope I'm getting my points across to you here correctly.
This is firefighter Raphael Porriette for Firehouse Subs. Introducing new Firehouse Pairs. Pair your favorite small sub with a signature side, like the awesome 5-cheese mac and cheese. And remember, a portion of every purchase at Firehouse Subs goes towards helping first responders. Firehouse Subs. Enjoy more subs, save more lives. Participating locations only, Firehouse Subs will donate a minimum of $1 million in 2019 to the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation by donating 0.11% of every purchase.
O'Reilly.
Is your check engine light on? Don't ignore it. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today and let our professional parts people scan your vehicle for free. We'll retrieve the codes, discuss possible solutions, and even help you find a professional technician if needed. Visit O'Reilly Auto Parts today for our free check engine light help. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
And now a word from our sponsors. Check out CartKing.com, 877-986-7771. Have you ever thought about opening your own mobile cart or kiosk business? Perhaps your current business wants to add multiple point-of-sale locations across the country quickly. Maybe the facility you manage could kickstart revenue by adding coffee, food, or retail services, like let's say you own an office building or a warehouse. Put one of these carts there in the lobby. Well, CartKing.com can be the answer to your needs. CartKing.com is a North American designer and manufacturer of the finest mobile retail coffee and food carts and kiosks money can buy. For 20 years, CartKing.com has been working with clients and corporations across America to provide indoor and outdoor carts and kiosks for any application. From large, heated, and secure outdoor retail or food kiosks to smaller, more mobile coffee kiosks or coffee stations, coffee carts, CartKing.com designs and builds them all. Carts and kiosks are fun, and so are the dozens of designs on the website, CartKing.com. Please visit today at CartKing.com or just call them at 877-986-7771. Tell them Ed Opperman sent you and you get a good deal. Okay, welcome back to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, Private Investigator Ed Opperman. Before the break, I was talking about Joe Biden and this story, how I believe it's a total packaged controlled damage control. Also, too, now, besides this one woman, Coons, who came forward from the video and says, "Oh no, I was never felt uncomfortable," blah blah blah, and other people telling these anecdotal stories about, "Oh well, he's hugged me too. That's just how he is. He's a hugger." Okay, we're not talking about being a hugger. We're not talking about invading people's spaces, being a close talker, like Jerry Seinfeld would say, which he seems to be all of that. Okay, which is bad enough. And by the way, too, hey guys. Those people that are close talkers and they're also pervs. Okay, in my experience. Okay, those guys, man, they're the same thing. All right, that's really much of a defense. All right, but the other thing too is this: where is all the people seeking their 15 minutes of fame? Now you got to remember, okay, this is right up my alley. I did the Tiger Woods case. Tiger Woods had 15 mistresses, right? The 15th hole. Right, all that stuff, right? The reason why there's 15 mistresses is because of Ed Opperman, because I got tired of going through phones and stuff like that. And I said, this is it. We got enough. Okay, right? There many more women came forward, okay, in that story. Where are all these opportunists coming? Where are they? How come none of these opportunists are coming forward to say, oh, Joe Biden grabbed my butt, Or, Joe Biden, me and Joe Biden, we got along great. He never did anything to me. Or the people in the videos, the little kids that were in the videos now growing up, don't they want a career in politics and say, oh, he never did anything to me? Or, oh, boy, I was really creeped out by this guy, right? Where are all these people? How have they all been silenced? How are they? That's impossible. This is right up my alley. I have experience in this area. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't fit. If it doesn't fit, you must have quit. And there's something rotten in the city of Denmark here in this situation here with good old creepy Joe Biden. There's no way. Oh, by the way, too, I was talking about things. I'm not surprised. Okay, this goes back again to me trying to explain to you that, the stuff I talk about is my personal experience, right? Now, with the Tiger Woods case, a lot of dirt came out in that case that we know about that never hit the newspapers and never made the mainstream media. And one of the stories is that one of the Tiger Woods mistresses that he was with, right, who was an adult at the time of his exposure, he met her when she was his babysitter, when she was 14, 15 years old. And she actually came forward and she said, I feel devastated by the way, I was treated by you. There's a text to that effect. Okay? Now, this isn't widely known in the mainstream media. Okay? There used to be a couple of articles talking about it, but they're so buried now because now if you try and Google Tiger Woods and babysitter, all that comes up over and over and over again is about how his ex-wife was the babysitter of one of his golf buddies. Okay? And so many times when I've tried to talk about this on the air, and I says, hey, did you know that one of Tiger Woods' one of his mistresses was his babysitter that he met when she was a teenager? People say, oh, no, Ed, you got that all wrong. Because look at this article where it says that you're thinking of his wife, Nordigan, there, how she was the babysitter for his friend. That's what you're thinking, Ed. You got this confused. Look at the article. I'm going to send you a link so you can be educated and understand what I'm talking about. Okay? What I'm trying to tell you, this is my case. This is my job. This is my work. I know everything that went on with this case. Okay? I lived it 24 hours a day. I know exactly what was covered up and what wasn't covered up. Okay? So, anyway, again, it's just this crazy situation I'm in here, where I'm lumped in with these nutcases that sit around and watch YouTube all day long and talk about it. And then, here I am. I'm trying to tell you something I know, and people come back and they want to send me a link to someone. What do they know? Did they work on it? No, they didn't. Hey, but anyway, it just goes back to this whole thing about why this whole Joe Biden story and the way it's being released and the way it's being handled is just so damn fishy. It's not like a feeding frenzy. It's not like a scandal that you really have. The press is just sitting on their hands. No one's playing the Creepy Joe videos. No other women are coming forward. The girls in the Creepy Joe videos, none of them are coming forward except for this one who coincidentally also had a meme. And so, well, that was a picture taken out of context. But they chose her. The one who was going to come forward and write an article and say nothing happened, they chose her to make a meme and make it go viral. I suspect the Russians are behind this too as well. Okay? Oh, boy. Yeah, Zooks. And by the way, again, for the 1 millionth time, the Mueller report does not, first of all, we don't know what's in the Mueller report, but we do know what Barr says in his letter, his 4-page letter about the Mueller report, and the entire second page says that the Russians did interfere in the election on behalf of Donald Trump. That's what that's what Barr says the Mueller report says. Okay, so everyone bombarding me here with this nonsense. Well, Ed, now that it's been proven that there was no Russian interference, what do you say now? Now it's been proven that the Steele dossier was all fake. What do you have to say now, Ed? Are you out of your mind? Read the freaking 4-page letter, man, and you'll see the whole entire second page. I can understand people being lazy and not reading Agenda 21 because it's like 400 pages. And even though it's so repetitious, you could just read, you can get through that without killing yourself. I read it twice now. Okay, I read this thing cover to cover twice, but I've referred to it and scanned through it another dozen times past that. Okay, so I can understand people saying read Agenda 21 and they've never read it. But tell me, man, how can you try and tell me you can't read a 4-page letter from Barr? It's available all over the internet. You don't have to look for it. It's right there in front of you, And it doesn't say that there was no Russian interference. It says specifically that there was Russian interference. It doesn't say anything about the Steele report being proven false. There's nothing in there whatsoever about that. And now we're hearing from the New York Times, if you want to believe these anonymous sources reporting to the New York Times, they're saying that many of the agents who were part of the investigation wrote summaries. They expected that these summaries would be released, and they're saying the way Barr is portraying this report is not what they intended. Okay? Now, we don't know, because no one's read the real Mueller report. We've only read the Barr letter. And since Barr is buddies with Trump, and he's also buddies with Epstein, his law firm is the one that cut that sweetheart deal for Epstein. So, okay, we're going to trust Barr. All these guys out there, who love to talk about Epstein, they're all experts on Jeffrey Epstein. Every one of them is an expert. I meet all these people that are experts. They love to send me links and things like this about this story. Okay? But now you want to trust Barr's 4-page letter when he's involved in all of that? That's okay with you? When Barr comes out of this, isn't Barr deep state? If his first job out of college was working for the CIA, doesn't that make Barr deep state? If he was involved in the Iran-Contra cover-up, first he was involved in the Iran-Contra drug smuggling, but then on top of that, involved in the cover-up and involved in the pardons, is he not deep state? But okay, we're going to trust him now because it's okay. He's one of the good deep staters. We're going to trust him to tell us what it says in the Barr report. And the Barr report, obviously, Ed, don't you feel guilty? Don't you feel funny? Don't you feel... the Barr report now says that there was no collusion, there was no interference, there was no crimes committed, there was no obstruction of justice. It's a 100% exoneration, Ed. Didn't you see that? So... if it says all of that, if Barr is telling us that that's what's in the Mueller report, then why won't they release the Mueller report? All they have to do is release it. And then I'll go and I'll say, hey, it's great this guy's smuggling coke. It's great that he's getting perverts off, man. He's a great guy. He's doing a great job. But until then, I'm going to stick with what I said. When I first set my eyes on Bill Barr, okay, and I saw him there at that confirmation hearing, and I saw him introducing his grandkids and his kids, and look at this one's in the Department of Justice now, and this one's a prosecutor over there. And, oh, by the way, my nephew's going to work for Trump. He's a legal advisor for Trump now next week. Did you know that? But, okay, when I saw him, I said, this is the guy who's going to take the fall. This is the guy who's going to do the dirty work. This is the guy who's going to go down in history as the bad guy. And he knows it, and he brought in his family that says, hey, guys, you know the real me. This is just work. And I'm playing a part here. And I'm going to go down with the ship. I'm going to take a bullet for this president. And that's what I'm going to do. All right? And I can, listen. Okay? I saw it with my own eyes. Okay? And I predicted this was going to happen. And isn't this what's going to happen? They're going to fight tooth and nail to keep all this stuff under wraps. They're going to go to court. They're going to drag it out. They're going to drag it out. They're going to drag it out. And in the meantime, nitwits are going to be running around saying, oh, Ed, it's been proven that there was no interference. It's been proven, Ed. Now, what do you say? No, it's been proven that the Steele dossier was all fake. Ha, 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 ha. People who never read the Steele dossier in their freaking life. You can't say that the Steele dossier is fake when Carter Page admits that everything said about him in the Steele dossier is true. Okay, what more do you want? And it talks about the Russians having dirt on Trump. Isn't it obvious that they have some kind of dirt on Trump? So we're going to see all this. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that the Mueller report confirms the Steele dossier. Okay, but I'm waiting for the actual report, not what the CIA agent, coke smuggling, pervert representing Bill Barr has to say about it. I don't care what he has to say. I've looked into the eyes of many guys who do dirty work and taken the fall for other people, okay, and I've seen it. And that's what this guy's doing right now. I don't know what you guys do. I don't know what you guys do for a living. I don't know what the audience does. I don't know which people who contact me and want to educate me on everything by sending me a link of a YouTube video. Okay? I don't know what, man, or what your life experience is, man, that you want to educate me by sending me to freaking YouTube. Okay? That I can't find YouTube myself. I can't find my way to YouTube, right? If you like the show. And I know many of you do. Listen, you want to know something? I can see all the statistics, man. I can see all the demographics on this show. And I got to tell you, man, that people listen to my shows till the end. Okay? You go on Spreaker, you go on YouTube, and you see most people listen for 5-10 minutes and they turn off. They switch to something else. People start listening to my show, man. The average minutes listened, man, is double. The average guy out there, man. People listen all the way to the end on these shows. I know you do, man. You kidding me? I know you do. I see the numbers, man. Even Spreaker said to me, they came to me and says, you got to add mid-rolls, but you should add one in 5 minutes, in the first 5 minutes of the show, because people, they tune out. And then they got back to me and they says, wow, people listen to your show till the end, People really listen to your show. It must be something good. So people, they probably just want to hear me butcher the commercials and stuff, but whatever the reason, we're here. We can't get away from it. We're here now. We can't get away. There's no escape. But if you like the show, you go to OppermanReport.com. We have a member section. We're trying to raise money now. We sent out a MailChimp. We got no response whatsoever. Not a single membership, not a single donation. There's new content in there. VIX, we just found out now. Okay, I'll give you a breaking news right now, just while I'm talking to you here. We got VIX. We heard from American University in D.C. over there. They had 20,000 applicants. They only accept 1,700. Vic was accepted. They're offering her aid, but not a full ride. We're going to have to take loans and stuff like that. I can't afford any of that, man. Not working for you guys if I'm not getting paid. So if you want me to keep working here for you, we need some memberships, man. Pronto, tanto. We're hitting some big milestones on YouTube. We're about to hit 2 million in the next 10 days. We'll have 2 million views on YouTube, and we'll have 3,500,000 views and downloads on Spreaker. So that's right there. That's 5.5 million people, plus all the other YouTube channels, all the podcasts, all these people. Man, 10 cents a piece, man. 10 cents a download. It would be what, man? $500,000? 10 cents? What about 1 cent, 1 penny a download? What would that be, man? $50,000? You think I could do something with that kind of money? Can you listen to the show week after week after week and give no support, and listen to me suffering here, broken teeth? My kid trying, we just got our asses kicked in a family court there, took away our child support. Ex-wife steals our college fund. And you can't say, well, I listen to the show every week and I can't send $1. I can't send $10. Can't do it. Can't do it, Ed. I got to spend that money on something else. But I'll listen to you next week. Well, let me send you a link, dude. Let me send you a YouTube link. Right? So you want to support the show. You want to keep listening to me here moan and groan and complain. You want to watch me have a stroke right here on the air. Go to OppermanReport.com and say become a member. Or you can email me directly at OppermanReport@gmail.com and get a discount. 13 months for $65. Man, just think, the 1%. It's 50,000 people, man, right? 50,000 people just got a membership, man. What I could do, I could be producing documentary films, without any kind of censorship or any kind of thing like that. I have total control of everything. I could have producers in here helping me with the show. We could be buying airtime on stations all over. If we just had a little support from this massive audience who loves to correct me and complain to me. No problem complaining to me. No problem emailing me every week to complain. No problem. That we can do. So I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning, Saturday morning, and there'll be 150 freaking complaints on YouTube comments. Okay? Half of them I just delete, man. I block them. But week after week after week, I got to put up with this. So if you want to watch me suffer again next week, you got to come back up with some memberships, okay? And if you want to watch me here, kill myself on the air. All right, guys, thank you so much. Good night.